Hi and welcome to Omni Edition, the Detroit Tigers 1992. I'm Dan York. As thousands have done from Michigan, Ontario, and Ohio, we've made the trek to Lakeland, Florida, the spring training home of the Detroit Tigers, to find out what kind of team they have for 1992. On this program, we'll talk with Tony the Tiger, Tony Phillips. Last year for the Tigers, Tony started at 5 different positions, played over 10 games at each of those positions. He's the first major leaguer in the history of baseball ever to do that. We'll talk with Al Kaline, Hall of Fame right fielder, coach and instructor for this Detroit Tiger team, and television analyst for the Detroit Tigers. We'll get his impressions of this 1992 Tiger team. He likes what he's seen so far in spring training. We'll talk with George Kell, also a Hall of Famer, third baseman for the Detroit Tigers, and also television broadcaster for the Tigers. We'll see what he likes about this 1992 Tiger team. We'll talk with Billy Muffett. He's the Tiger pitching coach. He has got a big job here in spring training to fill out Sparky's rotation and take some young arms north for this 1992 Tigers. And if the Tigers are to succeed in 92, some of those young arms are going to have to come through. And we'll also talk with Rizzs. He's the new Tiger play-by-play man, along with Bob Rathbun on radio. They've got some big shoes to fill with Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey. We'll see how things have gone for him and his partner here in spring training in 1992, and also what his impressions are of the Detroit Tigers for 1992. That's on Omni Edition, the Detroit Tigers 1992. When the Tigers obtained Tony Phillips through free agency from the Oakland A's, they weren't quite sure where he would fit into this team. So far, he's fit in everywhere. In 1991, Phillips had 17 homers to bolster this Tigers' powerful attack, 72 RBIs, and 160 hits. As we said, he became the first player in Major League history ever to start 10 games at 5 different positions. And Phillips thinks his role as the Tigers' versatile, everywhere guy fits him just fine. Tony Phillips, a ball player for the Detroit Tigers who doesn't know where he's going to start one day to the next. Does that ever wear on you? I mean, your numbers don't show that it's a problem, but does it wear on you mentally, ever not knowing where you're going to play? Or do you want to play in one position regularly?
Oh, the first question, no, it doesn't wear on me at all, because I more or less accepted the role that I've been handed to me, and it keeps things definitely not boring. You know, it's a challenge every day to go out there and play a different position, and not only play a different position, but play it well. That's the thing I would like to, do the most of all. I know I can play any position out on the field, but I like to do it well at a big league level.
What, coming from Oakland, I mean, you did pretty much the same thing in the infield, at least. You played quite a few positions for the A's in the infield. What do you consider to be your best position, or do you even consider one?
Well, right now I'm pretty comfortable in the role that I'm in right now, and if I was to go back and play one position, then I would have to change my mindset. So, right now I'm real comfortable with what I'm doing.
What about this baseball team? What do you see for it in 1992? What have you seen so far this spring?
We got a good opportunity to do some great things here this year. I feel a lot of clubs or a lot of people are writing us off just like they have since I've been here. So, we had a pretty decent year our first year, and we built upon that last year. So if we can improve this year, we're going to be in pretty good shape.
What kind of health are you in spring training?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. Things are not 100%, but over the course of 162 games, I'm right on schedule.
Do you pace yourself through spring training or not?
Well, you kind of have to. I think the veteran players do, pace ourselves in a sense that you don't want to burn out and you don't want to pull anything, and you really don't have anything to prove. You just want to gradually get yourself into baseball shape. Most of the guys came into spring training in shape in general, but it's a different kind of shape when you're out there filling ground balls and making turns and doing a baseball thing. So we're in pretty good shape right now.
Is the attitude of this team together good as a team? I mean, the starting 8 you throw out here any day of the week is as good as any starting 8 in Major League Baseball. The pitching is somewhat, I guess, suspect. What is the attitude of this team?
Well, our attitude's always good. We're going to go out there. We're going to play, every day and play good hard baseball, good hard 9 innings, and just like you say, we don't have a great club, but our advantage and our edge is to go out there and play 9 hard innings day in and day out. And if we can do that, we're going to catch some teams sleeping some days, and we're going to be at our best.
Now, is this your last year of this contract with the Tigers?
Yeah, this is my last year, along with a number of other guys. So, and that's really not a problem with anyone here. You sign a contract and you live up to that contract, and then after the season's over, we'll deal with that and see what's going on then.
But I think it was Sparky that said, give me 9 guys, or give me 25 guys that are all in the option year of their contract, and we'll have one great baseball team. I mean, it's got to be in your mind at least a little bit to perform with numbers that will help you when it comes time to negotiate either with the Tigers or somebody else.
Well, that's really not an issue once you're on the field. I think off the field on the off season, you think about those type of things. But money and all that off-the-field stuff doesn't come into play when you're trying to hit a slider or a fastball, Just because you want to have a good year, you still have to do the job on the field. I think it does help in the sense of guys get themselves prepared a little bit better mentally and getting in a little bit better physical condition. But, on the field, the only thing you can do is go out there and battle a free agent year or no free agent year. You're still going to have to go out there and do the job.
The Garden City Youth Assistance Program is looking for volunteers to work with youth between the ages of 7 and 16 who are caring and concerned adults, willing to volunteer 1 to 2 hours a week for 6 months on a one-to-one basis with troubled youth from Garden City. The Youth Assistance Program provides the troubled youth of our community the guidance to find the proper way to deal with today's problems and plan for tomorrow's needs. Local support for the Garden City Youth Assistance Program is always needed. To get involved in the future of your community, contact Rennell Bowman at 525-8836. That's 525-8836. George Kell began his association with the Detroit Tigers in 1946 when he was traded to the Tigers to play third base from the Philadelphia Athletics. Starting in 1959, Kell became a television and radio man for the Detroit Tigers. In 1992, George Kell is still in the television booth, but he's now a part of the Tiger Board of Directors. And George Kell is as much a part of the Tigers as is orange and blue.
Well, I've been here so long as a player and as a broadcaster, I'm just part of the franchise.
Now, how does this spring compare to other springs? Anything different about the ball club or anything at all in Lakeland this year?
No, I don't think there's anything different about the ball club. We have a little better ball club than we had last year. We surprised everybody by finishing in a tie for second with a club that most people picked to finish 5th, 6th, somewhere down the line. This club looks better. We've got some kids that are going to pitch that we didn't have last year. And we've got some guys that they're going to have better years. They just Rob Deere was a new man here last year and did not do well at all. I think Rob's going to be a better ball player. And Whitaker and Trammell are getting up in years, but they're still just old, reliable ball players. Trammell's having a little back trouble right now, but I like the makeup of this ball club better than I have in 2 or 3 years.
The Tigers are in a situation where if Trammell does have a problem playing, it's not a complete panic situation because they do have Fryman who can play there, and then Livingstone can play at third.
Absolutely. Travis Fryman is an outstanding shortstop. That's his position. He came from Toledo, and they moved him over to third base, of course, because of Alan Trammell, and he played great there. But he is a shortstop, and he might cover more ground today than Trammell, with Alan getting a few years on. But it's not a panic situation. But anytime you lose an Alan Trammell, you get a little bit worried.
Sure. From the young ranks in the area of pitching or in any other positions, anybody that surprised you here?
Well, we've got a couple of kids from Toledo, Aldred, and a left-hander that came up last year and pitched very well the last 6 weeks of the season. He'll be in the starting rotation. And a couple of other kids that Sparky's really high on. He says he doesn't want to go out on a limb right now and say they're going to make the club and everything. He said, I want to look at them a couple of more times, but we're going to be better. We're going to be a better ball club.
The hole is really, I guess, the middle of the bullpen.
Yeah, middle relief is so important now to ball clubs. At one time it was not, but middle relief, you've got to find a guy that can almost pitch every day. He's got to come in there and pitch 3 or 4 innings at least 4 or 5 times a week. Now that takes a big strain, big toll on your arm, and so far Mark Leiter would be the ideal guy, but Mark's had surgery on his elbow, and he cannot pitch that often. But if he could, he would be the ideal guy because he can come in and blank you for 3 or 4 innings.
George Kell go into Major League seasons making predictions about ball clubs?
No, I don't know. In our division, Toronto every year looks like they have the best talent of anybody in the American League. They find a way of losing it. I don't know why. They win the division. They can't get in the World Series. Boston has improved. I think the next 2 weeks are going to be crucial for a lot of ball clubs. There are going to be some changes made in the next 2 weeks. Going to be some trades made. The Yankees have improved their ball club. They're looking for pitching. And if they come up with a couple of pitchers, they're going to be a tough ball club. So I think in the next 2 weeks you're going to see some things happening. Maybe the next 10 days down here.
Is George Kell having fun at spring training 1992?
Oh yeah, I do every year. I enjoy broadcasting. I enjoy being here. I've been coming to Lakeland since 1946 as a player and as a broadcaster, and so it all adds up to about 40 years with the Tigers.
Al Kaline is an institution in the city of Detroit and all of Michigan. Since he retired as a player in the 70s, Kaline has been helping the Tigers in spring training, working with their outfielders and their hitters. And, of course, he's the color man for Detroit Tiger baseball on television. And Al Kaline really likes what he sees in this 1992 Tiger team. First of all, how long have you been down here this spring with the Tigers? Did you come down in the middle of February?
Well, actually, I have a home down here in Florida and in Lakeland. I bought one when I was still a player, and I kept it. So I spend most of the winter down here in Lakeland, Florida.
I didn't know that. What are your impressions here midway through spring training?
Oh, this is a good team. They got a good bunch of guys here, and if everybody stays healthy, and this could be a real good team, one that will contend with probably Toronto. Looks like the class in the division. But it all comes down to middle relief pitching, it looks like.
Sure.
And if some of the young guys who have looked very well down here can continue to pitch once the season starts, this is a much better team playing-wise than last year.
Starting 9 or starting 8, this team matches up with pretty much every team in the majors, doesn't it?
Right. They're going to score a lot of runs. Defensively, they're fine. Good attitude. They have a little bit of speed. Good power, score a lot of runs, and again, it come down to how many runs they allow the other team.
And the guy playing your position, right field, Rob Deere, he looks like he's shown tremendous improvement. His visit to see Walt Heriniak this winter looks like it's paid off.
Yeah, he's been a big improvement so far in spring training, and hopefully he can carry it through once the season starts. He has great pride. He was very disappointed in how he played or batted last year for the Tigers, and I look for a great change from Rob. He's a great competitor. He's a good guy for a ball club, and you only wish him the very best.
The pitching, though, has been I guess a pleasant surprise down here. They have pitched well for spring training, and there's been a surprise in Doherty, at least, that there may be a youngster they can bring up and put in middle relief.
He's been a great surprise. He's been the best pitcher down here by far, and he's very, very impressive. All the other opposing players and coaches talk about him all the time. They said his ball explodes at the plate, and it doesn't come straight. And, you know, again, you don't like to fall in love with these young players down here in spring training because it seems like once the season starts, it's for real. And unfortunately, in spring training, most of the veteran players don't go 100% because they're only trying to get in shape and they don't want to get hurt. So, you know, if he can carry on what he's done down here and continue to improve, it looks like we have a good one for Detroit.
Any other youngsters you expect to catch on and surprise everybody?
Well, you know, I don't know whether I haven't watched too much of the pitching staff. Knutson looks like he is the type of guy you like on your ball club because he throws strikes. I think he's only walked one man down here, and Sparky Anderson likes people like that that come in from the bullpen and throw strikes. But again, it's hard to say, and we still have 10 days or so to go in spring training. Wouldn't be surprised to see a trade of some sort, or maybe even pick up a veteran relief pitcher.
As a former player, is this the point where the players start to get a little bored with this and want to head up north?
Oh yeah, a lot of the guys are dragging a little bit now, not so much because they're tired, but because they've been down here now 5 straight weeks every day. You come to the ballpark every day and the same routine over and over again, and they're in shape, ready to play. They want to get on with it, but unfortunately you have to play the whole schedule out, and a lot of times it hurts players because they're ready to go, they're mentally strong, and all of a sudden they have another 10 days to go, and they go backwards. They get dragging, and their mental approach is not there, and it's really hard to turn it on once the season starts.
Are you still enjoying coming down here in the spring and being with the team?
Oh, I still enjoy being around the young guys. Yeah, it's a great feeling. It makes me feel good, and hopefully somewhere along the line I can help some youngster maybe get to the big leagues a little bit quicker than normal, and that's what it's all about for me, to help some young player maybe get to the big leagues.
Are you working with anybody specifically this spring?
Well, no, I work with all the outfielders, you know, technique, and work with some of the young hitters over in spring training, over in the camp, Tiger Town, and you know, again, you don't know whether you'll see any results from them, but I think they appreciate the attention they get from a veteran ball player, former player like myself, and it makes them feel good.
How about the broadcast end? Still having a good time there?
Oh yeah, particularly when you have a good team like the Tigers have had for a number of years since Sparky Anderson has been here. It's a lot of fun when the team's in contention, and you can't wait to go to the ballpark.
In Salisbury, Maryland, the hungry are being fed. In Wind Falls, Indiana, a man who learned to read at 47 is making sure others learn earlier. Every day, someone in America is doing something to light up another life. But there is so much more to do. The light to do it is within us all. We only need to share it. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
In 1985, Billy Muffett took over as the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers, replacing Roger Craig, who now is the manager of the San Francisco Giants. One thing is for sure, the Detroit Tigers go nowhere in 1992 unless they find some pitching, and unless the pitchers that came through last year come through again in 1992. Billy Muffett will have his hands full this year.
It's the pitching during the year, it's the pitching after the year, it's the pitching whatever. So, but I tell you what, we have some good young arms on our pitching staff, so I really don't worry about the staff as much as some people do. Because I really don't judge their performances by what their stats are. I look at a completely different thing.
Of the guys that don't have the team made already, first of all, how many guys do you think he'll take north when the season starts on the staff?
Well, Sparky said he's going to carry 11, so it'll probably be 11 or 10, but I imagine the number will be 11 right now.
And then you probably wouldn't go any higher than that during the year, would
I don't think so. It's tough to really and truly get 11 guys in there and keep everybody happy, but when you start adding the 12th guy, you really got too many.
Who have been surprises? Who are you happy with as far as the non-regulars on your staff?
Well, of course, the kid Knutson has pitched extremely well, and so has Darden. Everybody's talking about those two guys right there, but I also saw them in the minor leagues when they come across the street in the previous spring trainings that we had down here, and I knew what we had before we got here. It's just a matter of them getting their experience in and getting a chance to pitch, and when they're here, they're going to get a chance to pitch.
Are they both probably going to see middle relief roles because that's really where you need some help.
Well, right now you always say middle relief and everything. All I say is relief because nobody knows when you're going to come into the game. So whenever they get the opportunity, they've taken advantage of it so far in spring training.
That role of middle relief, that term has really taken on a new meaning because the setup man for the bullpen really has become a crucial part of any baseball team.
Well, it really has. That aspect of the game has changed over the years, and I'll be honest about it, I hate that word setup. I'd hate like heck to think that I'm going out there to set somebody up. Who am I setting up, myself or the other guy? I really don't like that phrase, but it's about the only thing anybody's been able to come up with. And like I say to me, you're a pitcher out there. You're not setting up anybody. You're trying to get the game over the best you can.
Are there any kids that aren't going to make it this year that we can look for in 1-2 years down the road?
Well, of course, the kid Gore has an outstanding arm. Really and truly, he's got big league stuff right now. Here again, it's a chance to get a little bit more experience. But we need somebody down there like that to be ready in case somebody does get some kind of problem up here. We'll be able to dip down there in the minor leagues and pick him back up because the kid really has an outstanding arm.
What's your overall impressions of this team?
Well, overall, I think we're going to do extremely well this year. They picked us in number 5 spot last year when we tricked a few people, and I think we're going to trick some again because our defense is going to be a little bit better this year. And whenever you have better defense, you're going to have better pitching because you've got guys that can catch the ball and make the plays. So automatically that makes your pitching staff better right there.
Is everybody pretty much ready to break camp and get out of here? Are they tired of being down here?
Well, usually that happens, but we're still kind of feeling our way along. And really and truly, the guys right now think the attitude on the club is the main thing, and the attitude on this club is outstanding. We really are fortunate. We have some guys that love to play the game. And when I talk about the pitching staff, we have a bunch of guys on the staff that want the ball all the time. They won't back away from it. And when you have guys like that, you got a chance.
Are there any trickle-down residual effects of everything going up north as far as the potential sale of the team and all of the monkey business?
Nah, you don't think about that as a player or a coach or whatever. That's way out of our program, quite truthfully. We've got one objective, and that's to go out and try to win as many games as we can. You only got to play them one day at a time. It'd be nice to win 160, but that's not going to happen.
If two guys ever were both in the greatest situation and the worst situation at the same time, it's Rick Rizzs and Bob Rathbun. They take over for Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey as the Tiger radio team, but Rick Rizzs says there's no question in his mind this is a great gig.
Let me remind everybody, it's the best job in baseball. You betcha. We have some big shoes to fill. Ernie Harwell is a great person and obviously a great broadcaster. Last 32 years in Detroit, and he's been broadcasting for 43 years in Major League Baseball. Ernie told me to apply for this job last June, so I did. And my first reaction was, I feel sorry for the poor son of a gun who has to replace you. But 6 months later, it was me. But I haven't had any regrets about applying for the job. And since I got the job back in November, it's been wonderful. My family's excited about coming out to Detroit and starting all over again, which is going to be a lot of fun. So like I said before, over and over again, our goal is to do the best job we possibly can, bring the fans, the Tigers baseball, the best job we possibly can, and carry on that tradition of the great broadcasters down through the years, Ty Tyson and Harry Heilman and Ernie Harwell and Van Patrick and also Paul Carey. Paul Carey was around for 19 years. So that's what we want to do. We want to become a part of the organization, a part of the fans' life as well, and we want to get involved in the community. Everything is going to be great.
Now, the folks here in Lakeland, the people from Michigan that are down here, from Ontario, Ohio, they get to hear you every day also when the games are done on the local radio, and the response has been pretty good. Have you gotten a lot of feedback or not?
Yes, we've gotten a lot of feedback. Everybody who's come up to us has had nothing but positive things to say. They say they have enjoyed the broadcasts, and they like what we've done so far. They say good luck. Everybody's been real nice to us, so that's nice.
Did you know Bob Rathbun before you were teamed up with him for this?
Right. Bob and I knew each other back in 1981 and 82. I was in Columbus, Ohio with the Yankees AAA Farm Club there in the International League for 2 years, and Bob was in Tidewater. So I got a chance to know Bob. We were friends back then. So we lost touch over the last 9 years. I knew where he was, still in Tidewater, and I had gone on to Seattle the last 9 years with the Mariners. But when it came down to picking a number 2 guy, and it came down to Bob and 2 other guys, they said, what do you think of Bob Rathbun? I said, I think he'd be a great choice. We'd get along great, and we have. And I think that comes across over the year as well.
What are your impressions in 2, 3, 4 weeks here of the Detroit Tigers for 1992?
I like this ball club a lot. Cecil Fielder and Lou Whitaker, Tony Phillips, Travis Fryman, Dan Gladden now, and Milt Kyler. These guys are going to score runs. They're going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. They're never out of a ball game. They proved that last year. They have already proved it down here at spring training, down 2-0, 4-0. They've come back to win ball games. So you know they're going to get their base hits, knock the ball out of the ballpark, and score runs. If the pitching does the job, and I think it will, if they come up with a left-hander or possibly 2, or the guys down in the bullpen to help out Mark Leiter and also Mike Henneman, I think it's going to be an outstanding year for the Tigers.
Who is going to fill those spots? The starting rotation is pretty much set. Take it as it is. Who is going to fill those middle relief and short relief spots?
Well, a guy who's been a real surprise down here in camp. He's had a tremendous camp. His kid who was at AA ball last year, AA London, John Doherty. He's had 3 superb outings, and basically right now he's on this ball club, and Sparky said he would have to pitch his way off this ball club.
He hasn't given up a run yet.
He hasn't given up a run. He's given up only, I think, 1 or 2 base hits. He's not walking anybody. He has about 5 or 6 strikeouts. He's been very impressive. So I'd say he's, I think, one of the big stories in camp to this point. So he'll be down there along with Leiter and also Mike Henneman. But, I mean, you got to talk to Sparky and Billy Muffett. They might have a say-so a lot more than I do, believe me. But I think those 3 guys are going to really help out down in the pen.
Have you detected any tension, stress, whatever you want to call it, from the actual potential sale of the Tigers and the media hype surrounding all of that, the Tom Monahan media hype, all of that? There's an overkill when it comes to everything like this. Does it trickle down to the players?
I don't think so. I don't think the players have shown any effect. If it does affect them, they haven't shown it, but I don't think it shows, you know, within the ball club or in the clubhouse or obviously, most importantly, out there in the field. Their main focus is to get ready for the season, physically, mentally, get ready for the season, and the other stuff they have no control over, so I don't think it has any or shown any effect on them.
That wraps up Omni Edition, the Detroit Tigers for 1992. As we head out of Lakeland, Florida, with 2 weeks remaining in spring training, there are still plenty of questions. One thing is for sure, the Detroit Tigers in any year with this team are going to score a lot of runs. The question is going to be the pitching. Will the young arms come out of camp and help this team in 1992? Can Bill Gullickson win 20 games again? Can Eric King regain the form he had with the Detroit Tigers? And can Walt Terrell and Frank Tanana make a contribution to this Tiger team? Can Rob Deere come back from his year of 1991 where we got off to such a hot start and then slumped for the remainder of the year? Will Alan Trammell's back make it through the entire 1992 season? These are very important questions, and it's important that Cecil Fielder and Mickey Tettleton have big years again for the Detroit Tigers. There is a lot of optimism in this Detroit Tiger camp, but as the cliche goes, they're only going to go as far as their pitching carries them, and the Tigers may be on the winning or losing end of a lot of 10-9 games. Reporting from Lakeland, Florida, Detroit South, I'm Dan York.